Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. Yaje here with another gardening video. Tribe, I'm so excited for this video because I've put together another very important resource for those of you who want to grow African vegetables in their backyards, but they are struggling with getting the seeds to germinate. They are struggling with even getting the seeds at all, with sourcing the seeds. So in this video, I selected 5 vegetables to share with you step by step the techniques that you need to get these vegetables to germinate so that you can avoid some of the mistakes that I made, quite frankly. You can avoid the heartache. I picked 5 vegetables because these particular vegetables require like certain techniques. They are not like your regular seed that you just throw in the garden and walk away. Some of these vegetables require that you do some things differently. For example, some require that you soak the seeds in hot water. Some of these vegetable seeds require that you plant them in a particular orientation. Some require you to plant the seeds as soon as you break it out of the pot, like they are recalcitrant seeds. Some of these little things that if you do not understand and you just throw your seeds in the garden, they will not germinate. And I know because I've been there, it brings a lot of headache, a lot of heartache, and you think you hate gardening. Meanwhile, or you think you don't have a green thumb. Meanwhile, you just needed to get the technique right. So, yes, I've put together the technique step by step to help anyone who has been struggling with germinating the scent leaf vegetable. We're talking about the African basil, ewedu, which is the jute leaf. I think I included bitter leaf, water leaf, and the fluted pumpkin. So these 5 major vegetables that are culturally meaningful to many tribes around Central and West Africa. I put that resource in one video. I have one ask that you help me share the video. If it adds value to you, share it on your social media handles, in your WhatsApp groups, share it with a friend. It helps me so much. And also give the video a thumbs up to just encourage me. So if you would like to see the techniques that you need to germinate water leaf, scent leaf, ewedu, bitter leaf, and ugu or the okongobong, that's a fluted pumpkin, then stay tuned. Now let's get started. This here is ewedu, that's the jute leaf. Ewedu jute leaf seeds. I left the plant to grow all the way to seeds. So I have a bunch of ewedu seeds right here. It's gonna self seed, so I'm not even worried about it. But I know a lot of you do not know where to find some of these seeds. That was me many years ago before I knew where to source them, or now can save seeds from my garden. So if you are looking for water leaf seeds, ewedu seeds, scent leaves, yes, I'm talking about the real authentic Nigerian ewedu and scent leaf and water leaf, then check out True Love Seeds. I'm going to put my link down below. Check out True Love Seeds. They do carry these seeds. They have tested the seeds for germination, and they even have more information on how to grow these particular vegetables. If you're looking for bitter leaf seeds and ugu or the fluted pumpkin seeds, that's okongobong, those are not available on True Love Seeds. When I do have those, I share with the community. One reason for you to subscribe. But if you're looking for them right away because it's about seed starting season, then check out Etsy. Go online, go to Etsy, type in bitter leaf seeds or the ugu seeds. Something should come up and you can buy from any one of the vendors at your own risk. I hope this helps because a lot of you still are asking me, where do I find the seeds? Where do I find the seeds? Where do I find the seeds? Try trueloveseeds.com. Again, I'll put my link in the comment section below, or go to Etsy and try your luck. All right, guys, we're going to be starting ewedu seeds today. These are the ewedu seeds sitting in hot water because ewedu seeds are hard seeds, difficult to germinate, will not germinate evenly because the seed coat of the ewedu seed is difficult for water to penetrate, and therefore germination can be difficult. Ewedu is the Nigerian jute leaf, and I got the seeds, of course, from True Love Seeds. I have some that I already harvested. Started these ones from seeds 2 months ago, and today I will show you how to start the ewedu from seeds to ensure that you get fast and even germination. So trick number 1, soak your seeds in hot water. You know, I just put water in the microwave when it was hot, put it on a filter like this so I can easily take it out, you know, not for too long. You know, once the water gets cold, that is fine. Okay, so next I'm gonna prepare where I will start the seeds in a container. I'm using this container right here. It has holes. You can also use an aluminum tray. So you can also use one of these trays. Make sure you put holes on the bottom. Okay, but I have this one, and that's what I'm gonna use, guys. So the next step will be to create where our seeds are gonna grow, and I get a lot of questions about this, guys. Us starting African vegetable seeds in containers requires a little bit of thought. I'm just gonna show you and explain what I am doing. So here is moisture control potting mix. I'm gonna put that at the bottom of my container. This is Miracle Grow potting mix soil. You can use any potting mix soil. Okay, so I'll start by putting a layer of that at the bottom. So this one has nutrients, is formulated to be used in containers, and so on and so forth. But as you can see, sometimes it can have like really large chunks of wood, and when you are working with tiny seeds like ewedu seeds, super tiny seeds, if you throw your seeds in there, ewedu seeds, water leaf seeds, and it lands on one of these, then guess what will happen? It will struggle to germinate, or it might not germinate at all. But we want the nutrients. We want our seeds to germinate and grow into something that has nutrients. So we are gonna fill up part of our container with that. Now what you can do next is you can get a seed starting mix. That's what I have here. They sell these. This one I bought a brick, seed starting mix brick, and then it has instructions for rehydrating it. You just pour water on it and then it expands and creates something like this. This is cocoa coir. It's very light. It doesn't have the chunks of wood. You know, this is for seed starting, but this one does not have nutrients. You want your seeds to sprout and then grow, right? Let me show you an example here. Here is bitterleaf. You see, it's growing into the soil. So if I only use a seed starting mix that does not have nutrients, then in the growing state, the plant is going to struggle. So that's why I put this at the bottom. And then next, what I can also do is throw in a handful of warm castings. Don't know if you can see that. Warm castings is an organic fertilizer, a soil builder. I really like it. I'll show you how it looks like. So I just get a handful. A handful is enough. So this is warm castings. I'm just setting up my soil, you know. This is optional. You don't have to do it. Me, I like to set up my soil so I don't need to be adding stuff later on. Okay, so I'm gonna put that and mix it in like so. Okay, and then the next step, now I'm gonna put that seed starting mix right on top. So instead of filling the entire container just with seed starting mix, one, is expensive, two, it doesn't have nutrients, I put the seeds, the nutrient stuff at the bottom, then put this one on top, and then plant my seed on top of this. It's light, it won't obstruct germination, and then I don't get to use a lot of it. Okay, I hope it makes sense. You know, if I'm just starting one pepper seed, I can get a tiny cell and do it using just the seed starting mix and then start to up pot it. But when you start having tiny seeds and many of them to grow, and you want to grow them for a while, I think this makes a lot of sense. This is already wet, you know, because like I explained to you, I had to add water to this to hydrate it so it's wet. And now it's time to plant our seeds, our ewedu seeds. Okay, all right, let's try and get this done. Okay, I'm just gonna, tiny seeds, try not to cover them too much. You cover them too much, bury them with too much soil, they might never come up. So what I do is I just try to make contact, have the seeds make contact with the soil by pressing it in. And then it's warm enough for us down here, so this stays absolutely outdoors. I'm doing this for outdoor germination. If you want, you can put a plastic dome over it just to create that greenhouse effect. And guys, I'm gonna put my plastic dome over it just because I don't want it to rain and push my seeds further down. So we're gonna put this plastic dome over it. Hello everybody, welcome back. I am super excited for today's video because I will be showing you step by step how to plant scent leaf from seeds. Scent leaf is a culturally important African vegetable, mostly for people around Central and West Africa. If I am wrong, please correct me. If you're Cameroonian, scent leaf is the same thing as masepo, and I believe in Ghana this is referred to as nomom. It is called scent leaf because it has this unique aroma. It is very aromatic and it has nutritional benefits as well as medicinal benefits. Culinary wise, we use it to flavor soups, to enhance the flavor of soups. It is a great herb to cultivate, but today I just wanted to show you how to plant scent leaf seeds at home. Now, if you're thinking you would like to grow it but you don't have the seeds, don't worry, I have you covered. I'm going to share a link to where you can buy the scent leaf seeds if you are in the USA. So here are my scent leaf seeds. They are very tiny seeds. Growing tiny seeds is tricky, so pay attention so that you can ensure that your seeds will germinate. So you need your seeds. Again, check the description box below, click on that link, buy your seeds. They will get here in no time. After you have your seeds, what you need: containers. I'm going to share all of my supplies again in the description box if you want, but I find these planters extremely useful for growing, especially these African vegetables. They are not too big, they are not too small, so I really like them. But if you don't want to spend money, you can always use plastic cups. Just make sure that you put some holes on the bottom of the containers. Always label what you plant. I'm telling you, you think you will remember, you will forget. So as soon as you plant the seeds, label. I like to use these garden tags and a marker. This is also a garden marker. You can use any marker, but just something that is waterproof. Okay, so you're going to put the name, scent leaf, and the date of whenever you're planting. And then you're also going to need seed starting mix. I have shared a video on this channel. If you want to know how to make yours at home, you can click here and see how to make it, or you can buy one. But if you're starting the seeds indoors, I'm going to recommend that you use a seed starting mix. Don't go get garden soil, because you can bring in
nuts, fungus nuts,
and also seeds from other weed in the garden, who knows what. So you want to make sure that when you see a germination, you know that it's your scent leaf that is germinating. So what we're going to do is fill up our container. Okay. It's all filled up. I need to water this. Once you filled up your container with your seed starter mix, go ahead and give it a good soak. I like to do this before planting my seed. Okay. And then next, we're now going to plant our seeds. Scent leaf seeds are very tiny. What we're going to do is just put the seeds on the surface and then just gently press it down. Don't cover it with a bunch of soil, because the seeds are so tiny. If you cover it again with the seed starter mix, the seed is going to struggle to come out, and maybe in that process it will not even come out because you buried it too deep. So just something to keep in mind when planting tiny seeds such as scent leaf. Okay, so this will apply for water leaves, your amaranth, stuff like that, which is why you want the seed starter mix to begin with. So I'm just very carefully trying to broadcast the seeds on the surface. Try to cover as much surface area as I can. All right, so that is it. Now I'm just going to press it down. Just going to press it down. I'm not going to cover it much. So just get the seeds down. I'm gonna press it down like that. Because I already watered, I don't need to water it again. But every couple of days, I'm going to come in with my spray bottle and just spray like that. See, just lightly spray. If I notice that the surface is dry, I'm going to spray it with some water. So guys, here is scent leaves 2 weeks later. So I planted these 2 weeks ago, and this is what I have 2 weeks later. I have a germination, actually germinated a few days ago. So it took about 7 to 10 days to begin to see something. But here is my scent leaf at 2 weeks. So you want to leave it open in an area where there's good air circulation, but where it is warm, and if you can have access to sunlight, the better. Hey guys, so I'm gonna be showing you how to start ugu or the fluted pumpkin seeds indoors using the double cup method. So here is my setup for starting the seeds, and these are the cups that I'm gonna be using. We have these ones here with holes at the bottom, and guys, feel free to recycle these cups. Okay, as you can see, these are not clean because it had something else in them recycling. So you're gonna need a set of cups with holes at the bottom. You can put the holes at the bottom, and then we're gonna need another set of cups, preferably transparent cups, and I will explain why you need the cups transparent in a moment. Over here I have my potting mix, potting soil mix. This is not seed starting mix, it's potting mix. That's what you need for the ugu. And then maybe a marker to label with the date, and then some water. So what I'm gonna do first is fill up my cups about 2/3 of the way with the potting mix soil. So all filled up 2/3 of the way. Now I'm going to grab my fluted pumpkin seeds. I have 4 of them. And then if you did not know, the fluted pumpkin seed has an orientation. You see this pointy tip, you see this flat base, the roots come out of the tip and the shoots come out of here. So you want to plant it with the tip facing down to facilitate germination. Now, if you invert it, eventually it's going to germinate, but you can see how it's going to struggle because the shoots are going to try to go up and the roots is going to try to go down. So pointy tip down. If you cannot remember, lay it flat. But because we can see the pointy tip, we're going to put it down here in the container with that tip facing down, just like so. All 4 of them facing down. Then now I'm going to cover the cup all the way to the top now with my potting mix soil, just like so. The rest of the 1/3, just like so. And just like so. Okay. The next step, which is probably what I should have done first, would have been to label with what I have in there and know what it is. I'm just going to put the date because I like to remember. So today is the 9th of June. So we want to label the cup that holds the seeds. Okay. All labeled. Okay, so this is what we're going to do next. These other cups, like I said, don't have any holes. We're going to take this one and nest in here. This is the double cup method. Okay, so what happens is when you put water in here, it's going to collect at the bottom if there's any excesses. So just like so. So when I water, the water is not going to stay in the cup and it's not going to mess anything up. It's going to collect at the bottom. So you can be able to monitor how much water your plants have. That way, it's a mess around here. It's just water. And then give it a good soak. Probably just gonna need to water once until it germinates. As you can see, the excess water is dripping, just like that. Okay. The next step, we're gonna be using this other cup as a dome, just like so, so that this whole thing stays humid and our seeds can germinate fast. This one fits perfectly. I don't need to do anything else. See, I don't need to do anything else. But if your cup doesn't fit like that, you can use a tape and tape it down. But I'm going to leave it just like this because it fits perfectly. Again, feel free to use a tape to hold it down, but this works perfect for me. Just like so. Just like so. And then I'm going to set this on a windowsill and wait for it to germinate. Guys, do you see this? That's a sprouting ugu, sprouting fluted pumpkin from the double cup method. So guys, I started these on the 9th of June and today is the 21st of June. So I saw germination in what, 12 days? 12 days. It's the morning of the 21st of June. So what I'm gonna do now is remove this dome and then I'm gonna just let it sit on this windowsill for a little bit more. So it's 1 out of 4. Today is June the 19th, and guys, we have 2 more germinations. As you can see, that one is just pushing the earth right there. It's been 2 weeks since I started the fluted pumpkins, guys, so I just wanted to share with you updates, germination update. All right, so guys, as you can see, these are the ugu plants sitting on my window. So from the first video, I shared with you how to start the ugu seeds using 2 methods. One of the methods I only used the double cup. So guys, in this video, I will share with you exactly what I did to get the bitterleaf seeds to germinate. A lot of you are having issues germinating the bitterleaf seeds. There are some things that you need to do. I'm gonna share with you step by step. So watch the video very carefully. And when you do get your bitterleaf seeds, come back to this video, follow the steps, and you are gonna get germination. Just look at this. Beautiful germination. So this is what I did. To start your bitterleaf seeds, I recommend you use a container. Don't throw the seeds out in the garden. I'm using aluminum trays, but you can use any other big container. You want to make sure that the container you use has holes at the bottom for drainage, or you put the holes there by yourself. This is important. Next, we're going to need something to grow our seeds in. I am using a potting mix soil, and I recommend you do the same. And as you can see, I'm using a sieve to filter out some of the larger wood particles. That is because the bitterleaf seed is tiny, and if it lands on the big wood particles, it is not going to germinate. Another reason why I use the potting mix soil is because it already has nutrients in there that can support the growth of the bitter leaf for a period of time before I ever need to transplant it. You don't want to use soil directly from the garden, especially if you are starting your bitter leaf seeds indoors, because soil from the garden carries with it eggs of different insects that are going to hatch once you bring them indoors. Additionally, soil from the garden can carry extra seeds of things like weed, other vegetable, and God knows what, and that will also sprout. So we want to prevent that and just use potting mix soil. Another type of soil that you can use is the seed starter mix, but the seed starter mix does not have nutrients in it, and after a period of time, you're going to need to fertilize to support the growth of your bitter leaf. Bottom line, just use the potting mix soil and do your best to remove the extra large wood particles. This is important. Okay, so we're going to fill up the container with enough potting mix soil. If you can, fill it up to the brim, like to the very top. After getting the soil ready, it is time to plant our bitter leaf seeds. And we're going to do that by just broadcasting the seeds on the surface of our pre-moistened soil. If this video is adding value to you, kindly do me a favor by clicking on that thumbs up button. And if you know somebody who might benefit from this video, kindly share the video with that person. Thank you so much. After broadcasting the seeds on the surface of our soil, we are going to press it down lightly just to make sure that our seeds have contact with the soil to germinate. Okay, and then this is very important, guys. Do not cover the seeds with any additional soil. The bitter leaf seeds are very tiny, and just pressing them down like that is enough for germination. What I'm using here is a burlap cloth, a garden burlap cloth, and I'm going to show you what I do with it. But if you do not have that burlap cloth, you can also use something like cheesecloth, or just think outside of the box. Anything that you have that looks like a burlap cloth will work. If I were to water this directly, because the seeds are so light and so tiny, the seeds might just sink to the bottom of the pan and never germinate. Now you water on top of the burlap cloth, so it reduces the pressure. It reduces the water pressure and distributes it. So the question is, without the burlap cloth, will the seeds still germinate? I don't know. Every time I've had a germination, I have used a burlap cloth, so just use it. Guys, this is my bitter leaf starts. So I started these from seeds, and I noticed something today. Today is February the 6th. Let's see what is going on in here. You guys see that? See that? We have a germination, guys. So I planted the seeds on the 29th, and today is the 6th of February. So that makes it how many days? 8 days. So we have a germination in 8 days. Remove the burlap cloth now. Okay. 29th. Today is the 6th. We have a germination. I'm so excited. I am so excited. So, yep. And then 1 week post germination, and this is how much growth we have. So guys, you can start bitterleaf from seeds. You just need to do it right. I hope this video was valuable to you. Again, I'm gonna ask for your thumbs up. It means a lot to me. And if you would know somebody that can benefit from this video, make sure you share the video with them. I hope I have earned your subscription. Thank you so much for your encouragement and your support and your love. Hey everyone, I'm here today to share with you tips for getting your water leaf seeds to germinate. A lot of you have been struggling with getting your water leaf seeds to germinate out here in the USA, and I've been growing water leaves for so many years, so I thought I'd share with you a couple of tips to at least improve your chances of getting your water leaf seeds to germinate. So water leaves are a culturally meaningful vegetable for many of us from Africa. We use it to cook different types of soups, and it's possible to grow water leaves out here. There are just a couple of things that you need to do. Here's tip number one. Tip number one is to make sure that you have viable seeds. Without viable seeds, all of the rest of the things that you're trying to do is in vain. And if you've been here, you know I always talk about True Love seeds. They do have water leaf seeds, guys. They have water leaf, authentic water leaf seeds. In fact, I've tried to grow water leaf seeds for them. Why I recommend True Love seeds so much is because they test their seeds for germination. They're transparent with that information. It's out there on the website. So if you're looking for water leaf seeds and you want water leaf seeds with some guarantee that it will germinate, get your water leaf seeds from True Love Seeds. I'm going to put my link in the description box. Full disclosure, if you click on my link, they do send a few pennies my way, and that's not why I'm recommending them. I will recommend them even if, you know, they were not giving me a couple of cents for every seed pack that you buy. Anyway, so these particular water leaf seeds have been tested, and it has about an 85% germination rate, meaning for every 10 seeds that you plant, about 8.5 will germinate. For every 100 seeds, about 85 of them will germinate. And this seed pack has about 200 to 250 seeds. So this is enough water leaf seeds for you trying to just grow vegetables in your backyard. Here's tip number 2. Water leaf is very temperature dependent as far as getting it to germinate and as far as getting it to grow. So if you are going to start your seeds and it is not warm yet in your area, meaning nighttime temperatures are at least like 60 degrees Fahrenheit and then it gets hot during the day, please don't try to start your seeds outside because it is just something that's not going to work. If it's still cold in your area, you want to start your seeds indoors and you definitely want to use heat mat because it warms up the soil. And that warmth is what water leaves require for germination. Like I said, my garden is here in Houston, Texas, Zone 9A. It's hot now outdoors, so I can start my water leaf seeds outdoors. Even then, I still recommend that you do not start your seeds directly in ground. This is tip number 3 now. I'm just flowing into tip number 3. Tip number 3, always start your water leaf seeds in a container. That way you can control the environment better. You can control what is happening better. Don't take your precious water leaf seeds, unless you really have a lot of them and you don't care, and go and throw them in the garden. You know, a couple of things might happen. Ants might eat them. It might still be too cold. You might bury them too deep and they would never germinate and you're wondering what is happening. So always start your water leaf seeds in a container. That way you can control what is happening. The next tip is the soil to use to start your seeds. Now you want to use potting mix soil. I use potting mix soil. I don't use seed starting mix. I use potting mix because potting mix soil has nutrients in it already and I'm going to be growing my water leaves in here for a little bit. However, when you use that potting mix soil, for example, Miracle Grow, make sure that you take some time to, pick out any big particles like wood particles in the soil before planting your water leaf seeds. Reason being that the water leaf seed is very tiny and if it lands on a huge chunk of wood, it might just sit there and never germinate. I will show you how to do all of this in a moment. All right, guys, let's get our seeds in the ground. So this is my potting mix soil. So like I said, we want to just, maybe if you see some large pieces of wood in here, pick them out. You want the soil as fine as possible. Pick those chunky pieces of wood out. So that's what we have. Okay. This is already wet, but I'm just going to go ahead and water this again before planting. So if you bought your soil from the store and it had not been hydrated, you want it just wet. Okay. Again, remember to put holes at the bottom for drainage. You see how it's draining? So make sure there are holes at the bottom. Okay. Now we're going to get our water leaf seeds. The seeds, it's extremely tiny. And this is where most people get it wrong. They bury the seeds too deep. When you have tiny seeds, guys, super tiny seeds, you don't want to bury the seeds because you bury them too deep, they will never germinate. Okay, so I'm just gonna try as much as possible to put it on top, spread it out as much as I can. As much as I can. Some people mix the seeds with seed starting mix just so it can disperse more easily. You see. So we're just going to try to get this in as many places as we can. Okay, next we're going to just press it in. so that the seeds make contact with the soil. We are not going to bury it. Press it in so the seeds can make contact with the soil. Do not bury the seeds with additional soil. They will not germinate. So that's what you do. Press it in. Okay. So we're going to look for a spot in the garden that gets a lot of sunlight, but we are not going to leave it open like this because when it rains, it can just mess up this whole thing, heavy rains, heavy spring showers. So what we want to do is cover this up with something transparent. Now, if you have a large trash bag that is transparent like this one, clear, you can use it to cover your setup. But since I have this humidity dome, I'm going to put it over like so. So that's what we have. I have my dome over it. It lets in sunlight, keeps the rain out, traps moisture, and we'll see how long it takes for us to get germination. I hope this video added so much value to you. Again, help me share the video, give the video a thumbs up, and check out some of these resources for the seeds. Thank you so much for watching. I do sincerely appreciate you all. And do not forget to grow a garden, because when you grow a garden, you grow health. Bye, everyone.